Welcome back here again today on the campuses of beautiful Florida Panhandle Technical College. Here again today with Ed Mansouri, no stranger to the show. Just recently, Ed and I talked about WeatherSTEM. He and his staff recently installed right here on the campuses in downtown Chipley a meteorological station which is going to be used by our science, technology, engineering, and mathematics students, commonly called STEM students. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Ed about all this and more, and we will be right back. Welcome back. As mentioned, our guest today is Ed Mansouri, owner of UCompass. Ed, it's been several weeks now since you came and installed WeatherSTEM. I have been your biggest advocate, certainly your biggest probably and most hopefully effective evangelist in the interim period. It's pretty exciting. You just got done talking to most of the student body, at least those who were here on campus today. You've given that same presentation a couple of other times. We look forward to it again once at least before the day's over. For those listeners and viewers who are unaware of WeatherSTEM and UCompass, talk a little bit about Ed Mansouri. What is UCompass, and consequently, why are we here today talking about WeatherSTEM?
Sure. So UCompass is an education software company based in Tallahassee that I started back in 1998. We build software that lets schools, colleges, universities put their academic programs on the internet. Sort of like a program like Blackboard, but a little bit more K through 12 focused. So I've spent a lot of my career running that company here in Florida. We've worked with organizations like the Florida Virtual School that we've served since 2003. So I've spent a lot of time on the ground in Florida. And with my meteorological background, I've always been intrigued by just how big and important part of our life and our economy weather is. With tourism, with agriculture, just with our way of life here in all 67 of our state's counties. So I started WeatherSTEM a couple of years ago with the focus of building more educational content for Florida's K through 12 students in the topics of weather and agriculture. Okay. Then shortly after we started that project, we got the idea to create what we call a WeatherSTEM unit. And that is the type of system that we've installed here on the campus of Florida Panhandle Technical College. It is a weather station that measures all sorts of different meteorological variables like rainfall and sunlight and temperature, wind speed. It also has a agricultural monitoring station that measures things like soil moisture, soil temperature. And then there's also, my favorite component is what we call a cloud camera. You have something that's taking pictures of the skies overhead once per minute. All the data from all three of these different systems flows continuously throughout the day into this science education platform, where it's able to be used by students in their math and science lessons. It's a strong teaching tool. Then it also has some additional public health and safety concepts. So people on campus can be more immediately in tune whenever there are conditions that could be considered hazardous or threatening to the campus and its population. So that's, we're extremely grateful for having had the opportunity to bring the system here. And I will say that you are not only our biggest champion here in Washington County, but quite potentially across the state. And we are extremely grateful for your energy and enthusiasm and for the opportunity to talk more with you about this program.
Well, you're gracious in saying that, but in what we do, we're in the public relations and marketing business. Mm-hmm. And it's very unusual to run across somebody who is not only the creator or inventor of a product, but also its biggest proponent and one who is able to present and explain as succinctly as you do.
So thank you for the compliment.
That's fully half of our engagement with what you're doing. Let's back up a little bit. You offered to the state of Florida for each of the 67 counties to select within each of those counties one opportunity, one location, a school or educational facility on whose campus you would install this meteorological device.
Yes.
We watched you install it here in Washington County. You didn't have a lot of problems coming up with a likely candidate in Washington County because, as you pointed out, you had several who were exploring that potential.
Sure.
We're fortunate that we got it here on the campus. What's a little disconcerting to me is that in our last conversation, you mentioned that there were some counties in Florida that almost, our problem in this litigious society, and one in which we are always, our buzzwords are, if it's too good to be true, it's probably a scam. they suspect that your motives are other than pure. Talk a little bit about that, because to me it's truly an interesting phenomenon.
Sure. Well, so back at the Florida Education Technology Conference in January in Orlando, we made this announcement that we've set aside a private fund to set up one of these WeatherSTEM units at an academic site. So that in some counties it's been a university or a college, and a lot of counties it's been a public school, K through 12. So we set up a system where schools or other organizations could nominate themselves. So we want to be the WeatherSTEM donation site for county X, Y, or Z. And the project got off to a fast and furious start. There was a lot of enthusiasm from a lot of counties. And where we are right now, we've brought this program to 49 of the state's 67 counties. There have been some counties, for instance, one county, it was disconcerting. I won't mention the name of the county. I will just say that a Title I elementary school. So in Florida, Title I is a designation that implies that there's a high percentage of the students that are from families of poverty. Okay, so there was an elementary school that had nominated their school, and we really enjoy bringing WeatherSTEM to those sites. Sites that might otherwise have a more difficult time bringing some of these science education opportunities to their campus in the short term. So we named them as the site. There was a lot of enthusiasm, and then the school district denied the opportunity to bring the program to the school. They said that it would compete with some of their internal initiatives. They're just, and there's always some skepticism about, how, quote, free is it? This is a program that has no short or long-term costs. If you're a donation site, we come and we install the equipment, we donate all the equipment, we come and spend the day speaking with educators, with students, and then we also, going forward, we are in a position of responsibility of any issues. If there are any mechanical problems, if anything needs to be replaced, we set aside that money to be able to provide that long-term. So, in that particular county, we ended up donating the system we're very happy with where we ended up donating it. We ended up donating it to a private school, a prestigious private school that, frankly, can probably afford the system of their own accord 1,000 times over. So, that was kind of frankly, a bit of a bummer to have had a public elementary school classified as a Title I school passed over for this opportunity because of not really having maybe an understanding of what it is. Where we are right now is we should by the end of September we're going to be doing 10 more installations during the month of September, and we were hoping to have a site in all 67 counties by the end of October. There still are a couple of counties that we just can't reach. So Hendry, Monroe counties down in the south part of the state, if you're watching, we'd love to bring this program to your counties.
Yeah, Monroe County, Conch Republic. It seems like
sure, yeah.
you have a lot of very free thinkers down there.
We've reached out to the school system there. We've reached out. We've tried to take more of a grassroots approach to try to reach out to individual science teachers. We're actually hosting a reception in Tallahassee at the FAST conference, which is the Florida Association of Science Teachers, which is a gathering of some of the state's real leaders in science education at the K through 12 level. It's being hosted at the Challenger Learning Center over there, and I'm going to have an opportunity through our sponsorship to, promote the idea of WeatherSTEM and the vision of it. So, hopefully that'll offer even some additional opportunities and some credibility for the mission and the vision of the program.
Arguably, who would have more weather or weather concerns than the Keys when it comes to Florida?
Sure.
A huge amount of the economy based on tourism, yes. Fishing. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but hopefully, good luck with that.
Thank you.
In any case.
Yes, I'm confident. Well, I think sometimes it's just overcoming the skepticism. So in other words, because having worked in education for many years now, there's a lot of vendors out there. There's a lot of people pitching a lot of silver bullets, and we're going to solve all your standardized test problems. So I understand it. But I'm confident we'll eventually break through some of these barriers.
In our previous conversation, we explored this and more, and realized that you're a marketing genius, because by giving this not inconsequential, certainly, donation to the state of Florida and its educational system, the rest of the world literally is seeing what you are doing.
Sure.
You are creating a seed bed.
Sure.
And these spores, these seeds, these petals, when blown to the wind. Right after your last visit here, when you installed WeatherSTEM, we became Facebook friends, and
yes.
so I've been following your progress. You've been all up the eastern seaboard.
Yes, we've
in
been,
many of the states installing these, not at no cost, certainly.
Sure.
So we're the recipient of that because you are making your money elsewhere, and then you're able to donate to the state of Florida here. Long term, what is your goal?
Well, sure, and right now we have 3 separate projects that we're focused on. We're building what I'm referring to as the Florida Weather and Agricultural Education Network. So all of these systems that we're donating across Florida, they're going to help power a modern, innovative, next-generation curriculum that hopefully helps our students across Florida become more literate in data, as well as agriculture and weather. We also have a relationship we've developed with many of the Atlantic Coast Conference institutions. So University of Miami, Florida State, Boston College, we're introducing the program to their institutions, which we also hope to be sort of a catalyst for introducing the program to their communities and the K-12 environments and the communities and municipalities they serve. And then we also have a partnership we're developing similar in concept to what we're trying to do in Florida in Pennsylvania with Penn State University, which is my undergraduate alma mater where I went to school for meteorology. So, but Florida is, I would say, our priority. And I would consider what we're doing in Florida to be philanthropic. We feel good about this. Many of our team members, myself included, have children in Florida public schools. We're citizens of Florida, and we feel we want to do our part to contribute to the state's overall STEM education initiatives. We also want to do such a good job with what we're doing in Florida that indeed other states do look at this integrated platform that ties together public health and safety, agriculture, education, scientific research, even media, and into one consolidated platform. And hopefully they would have interest in talking to us and maybe forming some sort of a public-private partnership. So we have a long way to go before WeatherSTEM is something that is making this amount of money that we're spending on it. But you have to spend money to make money. And fortunately, we've worked very hard in our company to be able to afford to do this.